Doesn't it seem unfair that someone who can cause so much destruction in other people's lives seems to skate by without any real consequences? This can leave you wondering when the narcissist will finally get their karma. And although we don't want to wish bad karma upon anyone else, because that will only bring the negativity back to us, I think it's natural to wonder. So if you're asking yourself that question, when is the narcissist going to get his or her karma? I've got a plot twist for you here today. You may have already set things into motion for the narcissist to get their karma. So wishing bad karma upon someone else kind of crosses the line between karma and revenge because you're really getting involved. You're playing an active role, if only in your own mind, in that person's demise. So even if you're not acting upon it, you're carrying that energy of revenge. And while those feelings are understandable, really the best strategy is to try to shift away from that and move more towards living your best life. So I'm hoping that that's what this video can help you do. And we're going to look at a really insightful comment that one of you left on a previous video about karma. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Christina, and this channel is dedicated to helping you recognize and overcome the effects of emotional abuse. And if you think you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, I have a free download that might help you figure that out. It has a checklist for all the stages of narcissistic abuse. So now let's look at the comment. Next time you try to throw a mental dart towards a narc abuser, remember karma has better aim. Ain't that the truth? So one thing I want to say is that if you are wishing bad karma upon a narcissist, I don't want you to beat yourself up over it. It is just where you are right now. So this is not about shaming anyone who has bad feelings or maybe even wants revenge. Those feelings are understandable. But again, like I said, really for our own healing, we want to shift away from those thoughts and feelings towards our own well-being, happiness, and future. But the reason why those feelings come up is because it feels like there is such an imbalance. Because you feel like after a relationship like this, you feel you've been emotionally beat up. You've been put through the ringer, and you might even feel like a shell of yourself. And depending on where you are and what you've been through, this person may have dragged your name through the mud. They may have turned people against you. You might be dealing with some very real consequences of narcissistic abuse still in your life today. So again, if you're having those feelings, it is understandable. But like I said, there is a plot twist I want to offer you here today. And I hope that this concept, this little twist, can help you separate from that idea of revenge, or separate yourself from thinking about when or how the narcissist might get their karma, because that's one important step that needs to happen before you can move on. So the one thing that you'll hear pretty often is that being a narcissist is karma in itself. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. But I know that for me, when I was going through it, it just didn't feel like enough. It felt hollow and empty. It's not really, or at least it wasn't for me, really until much later on that I could see things clearly for what they were. And I could see really what a miserable existence it is to live your life in that way. So now let's look at a comment that really illustrates this well. I think karma is knowing the ex-narc will probably never change and use the new supply as I was used. I know now that they're probably very unhappy deep inside, but paint a rosy picture, which must be exhausting. In the long term, this must surely impact their mental health. So the truth is that narcissists are very likely to suffer from anxiety and depression, as are victims of narcissistic abuse as well. But the difference is that victims of narcissistic abuse are likely to get help and narcissists are not. So it becomes a life of suffering. And in many ways, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're causing their own suffering and they're prolonging it by not getting help for it. So how might you have played a role in the narcissist's karma? So number one, if you ended the relationship with a narcissist, if you were the one to discard first, this would cause a narcissistic injury. Now, I hope that if you were the one to discard first, you've heard enough warnings that in this place, you never take a narcissist back. If you have any suspicions that this person is a narcissist and you have ended the relationship, you do not get back into that relationship, because if the narcissist comes back, it's purely for revenge. They're going for maximum impact, maximum pain. pain that they can inflict upon you. And the reason why they go so hard for revenge after they've been discarded is because it's painful for them. So that in itself can be a form of karma, because the discard really shakes that false persona. It shakes the image of themselves that you need them and you can't live without them, and that no matter what they do to you, you're just going to keep coming back. So even just for the moment, they have to see themselves for who they are. And that is very painful for a narcissist. I know a lot of you are saying, no, not enough. That is not enough to balance the scales. And don't worry, I promise, I've got more for you. We're digging deeper into this. But for now, let's look at a comment that really illustrates the point that I'm trying to make here. A narcissist karma is his or her own lack of empathy, inability to truly love other people, and their vicious revenge over perceived slights and never-ending envy and jealousy. I really believe the best karma for a narcissist is truly letting go, healing, and healthy development of yourself. Contentment, serenity in you, and keeping your heart open to safe people is their karma. We no longer care. Life is good, just without them in it. So yes, this commenter takes it to the next level. Not only does the discard become a narcissistic injury, but walking away and living your best life is another way to send the message that this person does not matter to you, and that can cause another injury for the narcissist. And it's hard for us to understand, if you're not a narcissist, how deep these injuries do hit. But you may also know that a narcissist may not allow themselves to sit in that place of pain for too long. But walking away and living your best life, whether you were discarded or you were the one who was discarded, is a good way to get that ball rolling. And so you're not doing it with bad intentions for the other person. You're really wanting the best for yourself. And that truly is the way to give yourself the best, to focus on you and self-care and self-love. That's what you need after a relationship like this. And it's also what will start that karma ball rolling. So now, as promised, we're digging deeper and we're looking at what happens when a narcissist realizes they've lost control over you. I have a whole video on it. I will link to it in the card and the description. So I'm not going to get into all the steps here right now. But as I've mentioned, a narcissist cannot allow themselves to sit in that place of pain for too long. So what they'll do is look for something to replace the role that you had in their life. So maybe they discarded you, but they thought that they could put you on the shelf and pick you up anytime. And now you're sending the message that that's not going to happen. Or maybe you left them and they never thought that you would have the courage or the confidence to do that, to live your life without them. Not only that, but actually live a happy life. So what the narcissist sees in this moment is you in the position where they want to be, right? They want to be the ones who are living their best lives, and they want to be the ones who are making other people jealous and making other people feel bad. And so they're going to attempt to balance the scales in that way. They're going to try and knock you down in any way they can. And usually when this happens, in order for you to live your best life, you have to cut the narcissist out of your life completely if you can, or as much as you can. So at this point, the best they can do is show you that they're happier, right? They see you living your best life, you look happy, everything's great. So they need to go in full force to show you that you didn't matter, to show you that they are doing even better than you are, and that you meant nothing to them. And so what happens now? Now the narcissist is desperate for that. They're desperate to show you, to put on a show, not actually to be happy. They may or may not know that this isn't possible, that they can't actually be happy, but to create the illusion that they are happy. And at this point, when we're desperate, we don't always make the best decisions, right? So they're desperate to prove something to you, and they're going to be making poor decisions about who they let into their life, who they choose to replace you. And this can happen in all kinds of relationships, but I have to say it most often happens in romantic relationships. So the narcissist will almost instantly replace you. As soon as you decide that you are done, you're over it, you're not going back, all you have to do is sit back and wait. In 6 months, they'll be engaged or maybe even married. This happens all the time with narcissists. And if you don't believe me, start reading some of the comments. So you might be thinking now, well, how is this bad karma for them? Because it feels like they're living their best life. It looks like they're living their best life. But remember the desperation. So when you are desperate to find someone to fill a space, when you're desperate to show somebody that they don't matter to you, remember, narcissists use people as pawns. So everyone is replaceable and people are completely interchangeable, like Lego blocks, right? According to a narcissist, you just plug somebody else into that role and all is good. It's the same thing, right? But if you've been out there dating ever, you know that things are not that simple and it's not that easy to find somebody who's really, truly compatible with you. And now to take it a step further, think about the type of person who might overlook all the love bombing red flags that are going to be coming their way. Now, we don't want to be hard on that person because we were once in those shoes, right? And you may have been a replacement for someone else. If you believe that you were with a narcissist, it's very likely that you were a replacement for someone else. So that next person might be somebody who's either extremely codependent, which would be a best case scenario for the narcissist, even though they're still not going to be happy. They're still going to replay all the same stuff. They're going to go through all the same cycles. They really aren't capable of doing anything else. So that alone is a form of karma, is just continuing to go on in that way, replacing people, trying to find happiness and never actually finding happiness. But then on the flip side, there's a chance that when somebody's making hasty decisions like this, if you think about it, who's okay with love bombing? We already talked about people who are highly codependent, but also narcissists and sociopaths are pretty cool with love bombing. That is the method they use to get to know someone. So it's not only possible, it's likely that a narcissist who is desperate to put somebody in that role, to pop that Lego piece into place, might make some bad choices. And I've heard this happen quite a bit, where a narcissist in this position ends up in a relationship with a narcissist who is worse than they are. And that is karma that you may have set into motion by just living your best life. So let's look at a couple of examples in the comments. So this commenter says, "That's exactly what happened to me. I was married for 20 years to a narcissist, and when I left her, she got married exactly 90 days later. Surprise, surprise. He was a psychopath who destroyed her for the next 4.5 years until she got divorced again. A few years later, she reached out to me to get together again, and I told her to never contact me again." So I really don't like the idea of wishing ill upon someone. And even just hearing something like this play out, I can't help but feel bad for the person who endured severe abuse. Yes, they shouldn't have been abusive themselves, and yes, they should have made better decisions. But all in all, I don't wish abuse on anyone. And here's another comment that proves karma does exist. My ex-narcissist's new supply cheated on him. She did exactly what he did to me. So I hope this video helped you find some peace and maybe realize that the scales of justice balance themselves. And it's not something we need to actively get involved in, even if you have played a role. These are things that happen behind the scenes. And if you're ready to dig deeper into the reasons why being a narcissist really is enough karma on its own, I have a video that you're going to want to watch. In this video, I go through 7 things that you have that a narcissist will never have. And this is their karma. So click the video that just came up on the screen. And if you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.